Welcome to Bank on Her. I'm Mackenzie Conklin, and I teach you how to make confidence a strength in and out of your business so you can build self-made wealth and unrealistic success on your terms. I've gone from defeatingly low self-worth to a multiple six-figure entrepreneur by learning how to bank on myself, and I believe you can do it too. Listen to find out how. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited for today's episode. It is inspired from a little riff I did inside of Unlimited. And I was actually coaching a client inside of Unlimited. She's also in the Audacity Challenge, which is my 21-day challenge to go from existing in your own head to taking fast, audacious action towards the identity and life you've been wanting. And so she's in both. And something happened in the challenge. And so we ended up coaching on it in Unlimited. Sorry, we're jumping around between my offers today. And I just wanted to do a podcast episode on this because I think it's a really important concept, and it is the perfect conversation to talk about before my new course, Audacious, launches. And so if you haven't heard anything about Audacious is launching the 14th of September. And it is all about full-time becoming the confident version of yourself who has this head-turning confidence, who audaciously puts herself out there, and who fully goes after what she wants. There is going to be over 30 videos. Well, currently there's over 30 videos and counting because I'm just going to keep adding more and more. And the videos inside the course are all about becoming unwavering in your confidence, building the self-trust that you really need to go all in, becoming your own first choice and owning who you are, working through any kind of fear that comes up, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, going all in on your goals and really how to do that and what that looks like, feeling permanently enough and worthy, and really exactly how to audaciously put yourself out there and create what you want in all areas of life. And the thing that's going to be so unique about this course is that it is going to really help you with confidence in all areas, whether it's putting yourself out there in dating, putting yourself out there in your career, with friendships in your life, with the goals that you've been thinking about, whether it's your business. And so it's really in all areas of life. And it's going to be so good. And so not only do you get these 30 plus videos that are going to drip out over week over week, really, but we're also going to have a community because it's so important in my world that you celebrate, that you feel celebrated, that you understand that you're not alone. And a lot of other women feel the way that you're feeling. And that's actually been a really beautiful byproduct of the Audacity Challenge, is women are seeing that everyone else feels like this too. And then they're finding their people and being able to feel like they're not the only one who struggles with this. So Audacious, the course, will also have a community. And then the part of that I'm really excited about is the monthly confidence calls. And so this will be a part of the course. And I know courses don't usually have calls, but I just had to do it. I was really excited about it. And so I didn't want it to be a course where people just buy the course and they use it sometimes and then kind of forget about it until they don't forget about it. And so what I'm going to be doing instead is, yes, you have all these videos in the course and all of the things, and we'll have a Slack channel for you to come celebrate and talk with other people. But you'll also have these monthly confidence calls where once a month we're going to get on a Q&A, and I'll answer any sort of confidence questions that you have, anything that's coming up for you, whether it's just more like a theoretical confidence question or you have something that's a little bit more targeted, or rather like advice kind of thing. And so some of the questions that I've gotten already are things like, how do you tell the difference between self-sabotage and giving yourself grace? Do you have any tips on closing the gap between where you are and your audacious dream? How do you keep your word to yourself? How do I become more confident in dating? How do I keep my confidence unwavering despite external circumstances? We have all sorts of fun questions like that we would be answering on the confidence calls. And so when you join the course, you get to submit these questions and I'll get to answer them every single month, which is really exciting. So anyway, so that's Audacious. It's launching the 14th. And we have two bonuses, and I'm announcing when this podcast comes out. So I'll talk about it. But the first bonus is that if you buy between September, or before September 14th, really, but between September 14th when it first launches and the 21st of September this year that the podcast comes out, then you will get a special limited time price of $888. And then after the 21st, the price goes up to the regular price of $1,111. And the second bonus is and if you're listening to this episode when it comes out, jump on this. You really, really should jump on this. So the second double bonus is for the first 20 people, and we've already had some spots taken, but for the first 20 people who buy the course, you will also get a 2-week boxer group coaching little extravaganza thing with me where basically I am going to, for those 2 weeks, going to be putting myself through a series of putting myself out there in the most ways that I can. So I think at the time I've scheduled this, I will be, when we scheduled the group program, I'll be launching. I'll be going on new friend dates, which is like a very new scary thing for me. I'll be trying out new activities, and I'm not good at being bad at things. It's not my favorite. I'm going to be going all in on a more personal goal that I have. And there's one more thing that I was going to be doing. Oh shoot, what was it? Oh, I think I'm going to be traveling while running and doing these things too. And so basically I'm trying to put myself out there and fully go all in and have head turning confidence, which is what Audacious is all about, all into this 2 weeks time. So that if you are one of the first 20 people to join this course, you will be in a Voxer with me where I will be riffing on all the things that I'm going through to switch my own confidence and make sure I maintain my head turning confidence. And so you'll see how I think, how I shift my thoughts, how I really stay on top of it, and just be a really beautiful example. And so not only will you hear me riffing, but I'll coach you on what comes up for you. And you'll be able to ask me and get coached on anything that's in the course or what's coming up for you about going all in, audaciously putting yourself out there and having head turning confidence. And so 2 weeks where you, me, and 19 other people are going to be working together to just go all in and really become our best selves. So you get the course, you'd get the bonus price, you'd get the monthly confidence calls, and you'd get 2 weeks of in-depth Voxer coaching with me. So it's really exciting. So if that sounds like something up your alley and you really want to see how my brain works during these things, it's going to be an interesting time. But that's the perfect time. So make sure you're one of the first 20 people. And as long as you hop in around the first week, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get it. But I think it'll go fast. We've had a lot of interest. So that's the bonus. But let's get into the episode and the conversation that sparked this episode and really what I think will be a very prominent conversation in Audacious as well. All right. So the conversation that I was having with a client from the Audacity Challenge was this idea that we have so many opportunities in a day to make an audacious choice. And that dream life that we have really isn't as far away as we have absolutely convinced ourselves it is. It's just a couple different decisions. And so there are so many ways or so many decisions really that you can make in a day that could be different if you were tapping into your most audacious self. And the example that I was giving them is that if you made a couple different choices today that were 2% different, that were just slightly more audacious, that were coming from your audacious self, you'd be 2% in a week from now. If you take a 2% different angle, you'd be in a completely different place, even a week from now. And I gave, in this coaching conversation, I gave a couple examples just from that day that I noticed. And I want to share them here with you just to show that so many things can happen in your day where if you make a slightly confident more choice, you will be so much closer to the person you want to be with the life that you want to have so much faster than you realize. And so the examples that I was telling my client about is let's just go through them. So again, this was all within a couple hours. And so the first one was that I was walking down the street and there was a mirror in the street. And I don't know why it was there. Don't ask me why. There was just this big mirror in the street and I was like, oh, that'd be a cool photo. But there were people behind me. And so I just kept walking. And I was like, oh, whatever. They'll probably think it's weird. I noticed that thought come in my head. They'll probably think it's weird. And I literally stopped dead in the middle of the street. And I was like, I don't want to have that thought. I want to be my most audacious, confident self, or I don't give a fuck. And I genuinely don't give a fuck. But I noticed that thought. And so I stepped out of the way and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back and do it. I need to prove to myself that this is such a minute instance. Yes, but it doesn't matter what people think. If I want to do something, I get to do it. And if I don't judge myself, it doesn't matter if other people judge me either. So I went back, and by the time I went back, of course, there were more people looking and walking, and that was okay. And so I walked and I took the photo. And so I didn't grab it the first time. So I had to go literally walk back again past the mirror and did like a little loop back and took it again until I finally got it. I don't know, the picture honestly wasn't that great, but but I liked that I took it. I liked that I went and I did that, because what I really was doing was showing it's okay to do whatever the fuck I want. It doesn't matter if people stare or whatever. And the example is like, what if, let's say something similar happened to you, and the thing that I was thinking of, like, what if that was a really great picture that I loved, and this obviously doesn't pertain to me at this point in time, but let's say I use it on a dating profile, and that's the photo a future partner adores and messages me for, right? Like, that small choice to, instead of not going back and taking the picture because what would people think, and I just went back and did it, so much could be different. But really the important thing that could be different with that is I showed myself it's okay to look silly. It's okay if people have thoughts. It doesn't matter. And those little instances, that thought was so small, it was so fast, it was so quiet that I could have missed it. But that is a different decision that I made from a more audacious version of myself. Later in the day, here's my example number 2. My boyfriend had texted me, and he had said that a couple people wanted to play pickleball with us. And I didn't really know. I knew that one of the guys was really good at pickleball. And then the other person who I didn't know, I don't know if she was good or not. And immediately my brain would be like, nope, we're not. I'm going to be the worst one there. I don't want to do it. And then after a second, I was like, nope, yeah, we have to go play pickleball now. Like I have to. I'm willing to be bad. I'm going to put myself out there and do it. Even again, another small, one little instant decision. It was just a text he sent about pickleball. And I had to think the thought, I'm willing to have the experience of being really bad. Even if, let's say, everyone was a professional pickleball player, I'm willing to be bad like this and teach myself it's okay to be this embarrassment and uncomfortable and live and have this fun experience and enjoy it. I'd rather do that, even if I'm an embarrassment and like really bad at pickleball, than to not do it at all out of fear, out of like what ifs of whatever it is. I've just got to do it. I'm all right to have my own back and look awful at this. And now people are probably going to ask me, how did you do a pickleball? We didn't end up going. We instead went to this like rooftop charity event. So I didn't get a chance to do it, but I said yes. I at least said yes to pickleball. And so that was, again, such a small decision where it wouldn't really have changed anything on the surface if I said no about pickleball. But the thing is it's not really, and what I want to show you is with both the photo and this example, it's not really about whether I took the photo or I played pickleball. What's actually so much more important is that I caught the thought and I changed my mind from my gut reaction of like, no, or like people will think this, and changed it, which is teaching myself it's okay to look bad. It's okay if people have thoughts. I'm going to have my own back because this is what my audacious self would do. And then the other third example, that again, this all happened in one afternoon. And so it's a key point of this podcast episode. The third example was I just moved to New York. I just joined a new gym, and you get a bunch of like complimentary things when you join. And so one of the things that you get is a complimentary fitness assessment. Now, I don't know what this actually is. In my head, all I get is flashbacks of like elementary school PE class where you get graded whether you can, touch your toes or whatever it was. And so again, this might not be what it is at all, but I got a text from one of the gym managers. They were like, hey, Mackenzie, like, we just wanted to see if you wanted to come in for the complimentary fitness assessment. And I noticed the first thought that went in my head is, no, I can't possibly do that yet. Like, I have to get fit before I have this fitness assessment. I'm just laughing because I was the dweeb that like practiced for the mile in elementary school because I didn't want to be bad. And I tortured myself through those 8 minutes because I'm not a good runner. And so it just brought back that energy. And I caught that thought and I was like, you know what? The point of this fitness assessment, they're not going to give you a grade. They're not going to give you a grade. Like it's for you to go and probably see what they can do for personal training or whatever. It's probably a sales opportunity for them, really. But I was like, I don't need to go and try and be better before I take this assessment. Like, I don't need to go to the gym and prepare for it like I used to. I can just go and it's fine. It's really not a big deal. And even catching that was an important little thing where I could make a new, more audacious decision because of it. And so again, I want you to see, this was just in a day. I want you to see how many times little opportunities like this do happen in a day. If you just make a few decisions differently, a week from now, your life could look entirely different from those few decisions. There are so many opportunities in a day to make a more audacious choice. And I'll say, just a choice that's within the comfort of your nervous system. You don't have to be like ripping away your comfort zone. That's not what I'm saying. But just more confident choices. There's so many opportunities for in a day. And again, that's just 3 instances within like an hour or so of recording this podcast episode. And I get questions from people all of the time around building confidence seems so hard, or the gap between who I am and my most confident, audacious self seems so far away, or that they don't really know how to be any different, and all of these things. And you don't have to be different. You don't have to do anything differently. You just get to notice when these thoughts come up where you could make a new decision, and you have the opportunity to make that new decision. That's truly how simple building some of your confidence can be. And the other conversation that is brought to me a lot is, how do I build confidence without proof? How do I take action without proof? This is how. I don't have proof around pickleball. I'm just doing it or making a new decision based off of my audacious self. And so something that I think is worth asking yourself, and this is the kind of work that we'll be doing in the course, Audacious, that I'll be talking about, that you'll have so many videos to watch, riffs that you'll be able to use to inspire you, and concepts to help you change your own brain so that you can become more confident full time. We have so many things like this that are really going to help you see that you can become this person. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so far away. It doesn't have to be impossible. So what I want you to start doing from listening to this episode is noticing the times throughout the day where you might be making a decision out of fear. There might be a doubtful thought there. There might be a thought that's just not as supportive as you want it to be. And I want you to sit with, what would my audacious self do? What would she, he, they do? And you don't even have, I want to be clear, you don't even have to go do that thing, make that decision. Just having that information is so insightful. It's so good to know. And the more that you're aware of what they would do, the more you're able to start thinking of, okay, this is what that version of myself would do. And becoming really aware of it is the first step. Of course, if you understand what that version of yourself would do and you feel safe to make that decision, make that decision. Because again, it's not the act of you doing it that's important. It's you showing yourself that it is safe to be that person, that you're willing to be uncomfortable for growth, that you would rather live and be bold or do the thing than not do the thing out of fear, out of doubt, out of shame, whatever it is. And so again, just sit with that. Just start to notice throughout the day what you can do or what you would do differently if you were your most audacious version. And then, of course, we'd love to have you inside of Audacious, because that is where we're going to help you become that person full time through the monthly confidence calls, through the community, and through the videos that you'll get access to. And so again, there's just so many decisions where you could have that entirely different life that you think is so far away if you were able to start tapping into the audacious decision, the confident decision, the self-assured decision, the unapologetic decision. And the thing that's interesting is people worry so much about what are the consequences that would happen? What would people think? What if they leave me? What if I lose everything? What if all of this and that happens when we talk about becoming this more confident version? But I think it's so much more productive to spend time in, but what if you soar? What if these 2% differences in decisions get you everything you want? What if the person you've longed to be is only a few decisions away? What if the dreams you've spent hours upon hours upon hours thinking of aren't that far? What if they aren't that far? And I'm thinking right now, there was a time, I would say probably 4 years ago, where I was still working on my confidence, and I never thought I would be able to have a business. I wasn't at the point where I thought I would be able to run a business that empowered women, which is what I've wanted since I was little. I used to dream up, let me start a clothing brand, but somehow it'll empower women. Let me start this brand that'll somehow empower women. I was actually on the phone with my friend the other day, and as I was moving, I was going through obviously your things as you do when one moves. And I went, and at the start of my business notebook that I had years before I ever actually started my business, I had sketches of a clothing line and there were notes of like, here's how we'll empower women in our values. So it's like, I was dreaming this shit up years, and I thought it was so far away. But again, 4 years ago, I thought it was far away, but I made a couple new small decisions from my more audacious identity as I started to build my confidence. And literally a year later, I started my business. And here I am with almost $1 million business. I never thought I would be able to do that, but it was just a couple small decisions, and it was shifts, small, easy shifts that I'm showing you inside of the new course, Audacious. And so I just want you to sit with, what if the hours that what if the dreams that you've spent hours thinking of aren't far? And so I looked it up for the purpose of this episode too. There are studies and I was like, I need facts, I need stats. And I looked up, there's studies that say a human makes 35,000 relatively conscious choices in a day, which is a lot. That's a lot of choices. And so let's just pretend that only, 750 of those, which is a 2%, literally, let's keep going with the 2% concept. 2% of the decisions that you make in the entire day, you have the chance for you to choose confidence instead of doubt or fear or status quo. So if only 2% of the 35,000, so 750 of the 35,000 relatively conscious choices that you make in a day, you'd choose certainty instead of doubt or courage instead of fear. How different would your life be on 750 more confident choices a day? And honestly, I think that's an underestimation. 750 confident choices a day. I think every single person listening to this has no fucking idea how much confidence affects every little thing that you do throughout your day. You know, one of the most interesting things that I didn't realize people would care about when it came to me, but it makes sense, is my clients and strangers tend to be very, very intrigued by how I think. And so they tend to be most intrigued about, how do I make my decisions? What are the thoughts I have? How do I switch my thoughts? And it's just really seen inside of the brain of a confident person, right? And so, for example, again, these little things add up. They do, like, this affects your day. It affects your life. So taking the picture in the mirror outside instead of walking by, going to the event that my social anxiety wants me to avoid. I smile so much more at strangers, and I'm so much nicer to people when out, and I have new conversations because of it. Another thing that actually happened last weekend is I was at a concert and it was very packed. And so people, when they were walking by, kept saying, sorry, sorry, sorry. And one girl was really mean to this other girl and started just like yelling at her. And I had the confidence to stand up for that girl, and instead of letting her get yelled at by this third person. And she found me later at the concert. Again, it was a packed place. And she came up to me and said, thank you so much for doing that and being kind to me. You had no reason to do that. That was like, you're literally the nicest person to, at a busy concert, stop paying attention to help me out. It just little things like that where my less confident version wouldn't have said anything. It wouldn't have helped the girl, right? And so there's just so many little things of how much making a more confident decision affects your day, affects your life, affects your identity. And again, those are one-off instances, but not to mention the more regular decisions that I make from confidence. I take better care of myself. I treat myself kinder than most. I'm able to keep my word to myself about my goals, or doing what I say I'm going to do, or eating healthier, or going to the gym, or whatever it is. I hit more goals because I can have my back more than most because of it. And so I just want to stress this to you. You have no idea how good your life can get, how unrecognizably confident you can become when you can make even 2% more confident decisions throughout your day. And I mentioned this at the beginning, but the really cool thing about being one of the first 20 people inside of Audacious, the new course, is that you will be able to watch me, see me, hear me, get riffs, and see how I'm changing my thoughts as I put myself through like 4 or 5 different ways of audaciously putting myself out there, fully going after my goals, and just trying to maintain that head-turning confidence during, like I said, a launch, traveling, meeting new friends, doing all those things so that you can see how I think through it and how my life is going to be so much different on the other side of those 2 weeks, where you're going to get my riffs, you're going to get coaching with me, you're going to get all these juicy bonus things just from being one of the first 20 in. And so again, the reason I just wanted to share this episode is because you just truly have no idea how good your life will get, how unrecognizably confident you become, how dream-filled it can all be when you just start making such small, different decisions, because you're learning to become the confident, audacious version of yourself who isn't afraid to risk, who isn't afraid to grow, who isn't questioning if she's worthy, who isn't self-sabotaging, who's putting herself out there, who's wildly self-assured. It will change your life. It does. Small little decisions, and you have hundreds more per day of an opportunity than you realize. Just one day of those 750 decisions could change your life. Just choosing to join the Audacity Challenge for $77 would change the trajectory of your life. Just today, actually, I got a notification that someone in the Audacity Challenge, it inspired her to finally start the book that she's wanted to write for her entire life. So that one decision to pay $77 has changed her life. Choosing to join Audacious, for example, will absolutely help you create what you want. It is just wild how much can change from one little decision to choose yourself, choose who you want to be bold, to be audacious instead of the status quo. So I hope this episode helped. I really hope today you're inspired to go make your audacious decisions, or even just check in to see what your audacious self would do. And on the 14th, that is when Audacious, my new course, drops. It is all about becoming the person with head-turning confidence who audaciously puts themselves out there and fully goes after what you want. And again, it's over 30 videos, a community unlike any other, and monthly confidence calls that you get for life. And so I'm so excited to have you join. And again, if you join between the 14th and the 21st, you get the bonus price of $888 before the price goes up to the regular price of $1,111. And then if you're one of the first 20 people, you will also get the 2-week Voxer program with me, where you get to hear me and my brain while I put myself out there, and will coach you while you put yourself out there and on anything coming up from you from the course. So I'm so excited. I hope to see you inside of Audacious, and thanks for listening.